Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today. We're going to dive into a totally fascinating intersection of biology and education. We're looking at the direct connection between targeted nutrition and successfully learning a second language. Honestly, if you've ever struggled in a language class, this explainer is going to completely change how you prepare. So let's jump right in. Have you ever sat in an English class knowing the exact word you want to say, but bam, your brain just completely freezes? You know the feeling, right? You get this sudden wave of fatigue, your focus absolutely shatters, and you'll probably just blame it on grammar being way too hard or figure you just don't have a language brain. But what if the real culprit isn't your language ability at all? What if that empty brain feeling is actually just a lack of the right biological fuel? So here is our menu for today's explainer. We'll start with the empty L2 brain, then get into verbal fluency fuel, memory scaffolding, reducing speaking anxiety, and finally, we'll lay out a concrete brain menu action plan. All right, section 1, the empty L2 brain, the unseen cost of language learning. Before we can actually fix the problem, we really need to understand the intense metabolic demand your brain is under the second you step into a language classroom. See, when you learn English, you're relying heavily on neuroplasticity. You are physically building new neural pathways, wiring new words to concepts you already know. It's essentially a massive construction project happening right inside your head. And just like any major construction site, it drains immense amounts of high-quality energy. You literally cannot build language fluency on an empty tank. And hey, it's not just about food. Your brain is incredibly reliant on hydration. Get this, a whopping 73% of your brain is water. 73%. When you start wrestling with a second language, mental fatigue dehydrates your brain way faster than you might think. A mere 1 to 2% drop in hydration that instantly slows down your processing speed and really degrades your listening comprehension. So the crucial takeaway here is this. What happens when we fuel this incredibly complex machine poorly? Well, if you feed your brain ultra-processed sugars right before class, you trigger a massive insulin spike followed by a disastrous crash. It leaves you in this deep cognitive fog. Compare that to quality fuel, which gives you continuous, locked-in concentration. To survive a long language class, we absolutely have to ditch the sugary snacks and start eating strategically. Moving on to section 2, verbal fluency fuel, ending the tip of the tongue phenomenon. We like to call this first solution verbal fluency fuel. We're talking about feeding your brain very specific nutrients to directly speed up how fast you process words and retrieve vocabulary. It's all about making sure your brain has the exact chemical messengers it needs to find that specific English word right when you need it most. Let's look at our first major brain food, eggs. The science here is just absolutely fascinating. Eggs are packed with a micronutrient called choline, and your brain uses that choline to produce acetylcholine, which is the primary neurotransmitter responsible for memory and laser-sharp focus. By boosting your acetylcholine levels, you're effectively giving your brain the ultimate biological tool for verbal fluency. It directly prevents you from blanking out under pressure, making it so much easier to retrieve complex stuff like tricky phrasal verbs, fluidly and effortlessly. But look, science is only helpful if we actually apply it correctly, right? Timing is everything. To get these benefits, you want to eat 1 or 2 boiled or scrambled eggs roughly 2 hours before class. This specific window allows for optimal digestion and ensures those vital nutrients cross the blood-brain barrier right when your teacher says, "Okay, let's begin." Okay, section 3, memory scaffolding, locking in grammar and vocabulary. Memory scaffolding is such a crucial benefit for any language learner. Finding the right word in the moment is great, sure, but we also need to structurally build the brain to remember complex grammar rules for the long haul. Think of it like building physical insulation and scaffolding around those new neural pathways. We need specific nutrients to protect these connections so that today's vocabulary doesn't just vanish by tomorrow morning. And this is where an incredible super combo comes into play: blueberries and walnuts. Blueberries are loaded with flavonoids, which have been scientifically proven to immediately stimulate blood flow and boost communication between your neurons. Pair that with walnuts, which are packed with high-quality omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s physically build myelin. That's the structural insulation around your brain's wiring. Together, they act like a neuroplasticity shield, accelerating how quickly your brain maps new grammar right into your long-term memory. Now, for this combination, the timing shifts a bit because it's a much lighter snack and those flavonoids act really quickly. A small handful of walnuts, maybe 5 to 7 nuts, and half a cup of blueberries makes the absolute perfect brain snack just 30 minutes before class. But what about those incredibly grueling 2-hour reading and listening blocks? For those, we need sustained energy. Complex whole grain oats release glucose into your bloodstream at a slow, perfectly stable rate, giving you continuous concentration. Sugary pastries, on the other hand, they give you a chaotic spike followed by a massive attention crash that completely ruins your ability to process English in real time. To guarantee that sustained focus through an entire intensive class, we need to reinforce this critical timing rule. A bowl of oatmeal or complex carbohydrates should be consumed exactly 2 hours before class. This ensures your glucose levels are perfectly leveled out when the hard work actually begins. Section 4. Reducing speaking anxiety, the ultimate focus fluid. Let's be real, for a lot of language learners, speaking in front of others is the absolute biggest hurdle. Reducing speaking anxiety isn't just about practicing your speech in the mirror. It's actually about physically calming the brain's fear center. When you try to speak a second language, your brain's amygdala can interpret that stress as a literal physical threat. But the right drinks can actually calm your nerves. First off, pure water keeps your brain cells firing rapidly and literally lubricates your vocal cords, which lowers your physical stress response. But the real magic? It's green tea. It contains a totally unique synergy of moderate caffeine and an amazing amino acid called L-theanine. L-theanine actually induces alpha brainwaves, creating this amazing state of relaxed alertness. It actively soothes the amygdala. Unlike energy drinks that give you the jitters and make you stutter, green tea puts you in a state of calm, focused control. So if you have a major speaking exam or a presentation, sip steady amounts of water throughout the morning, but drink exactly 1 cup of green tea 30 to 45 minutes before the exam. This precise timeline ensures maximum calm and focus the exact moment you open your mouth to speak. Which brings us to Section 5, the Brain Menu Action Plan, fueling smarter, not harder. Optimizing the learning environment is absolutely a team effort. We've looked at the science, now let's bring the whole shebang together. For the students out there, your brain is a high-performance asset. Swap those anxiety-inducing energy drinks for water, green tea, and walnuts to guarantee high-performance exams. For the educators tuning in, we need to normalize these habits. Let students have water bottles on their desks and consider teaching this nutrition science to get better focus in your classroom. And for families, academic success truly starts in the kitchen. Stocking the pantry with complex carbs and healthy fats provides the foundational scaffolding your learners need to really thrive. I really want to leave you with this core thesis. Optimizing neuroplasticity isn't just about studying harder, it's about fueling smarter. It's so true. Small changes in what we eat and drink yield massive, massive returns in how we think, how we learn, and how fluently we speak. So, I just have to ask, are you ready to change your menu and unlock your brain's true L2 fluency? Try applying just 1 or 2 of these targeted nutrition hacks before your very next English class. Protect your neuroplasticity, fuel your brain right, and keep exploring the incredible science of learning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to guide you through our next topic.
This video was created by Notebook LM with research and script drafting assisted by Google's Gemini. Inspired by neuroeducation, our mission is to give language and vocational students practical, science-backed habits for academic success. Educators and families, check out our source links in the description below, share this video, and let's work together to fuel our learners' brains for success.